Hello, my dear parents and the sweet little ones. Welcome to the epic series of Ramayana, an inspiring life story of Lord Rama and Sita. We have been discussing about Ayodhya Kanda, wherein after the marriage of Lord Rama and Sita, when they returned back to Ayodhya, we have already discussed how the citizens of Ayodhya were very so happy seeing the couple Lord Rama and Sita. And then after being the king for so many years, how King Dasharatha decided to retire from the king's post and have suggested Lord Rama to be the next king. We've also seen how Queen Kaikeyi put her two selfish wishes as the boons that she wants in front of the King Dasharatha. Number one, her own son, Prince Bharata, to be the king, and Lord Rama to be exiled away from Ayodhya and the entire kingdom for 14 long years, so that Prince Bharata can rule the kingdom happily as a king. These two wishes of Queen Kaikeyi were born from the bad thought of Manthara the servant. We have also seen how King Dasharatha felt very bad for hearing the two wishes of the queen and told everything to Lord Rama, but Lord Rama so peacefully accepted them and have decided to live in the forest for the 14 years. Along with Rama, wife Sita and the brother Lakshmana accompanied him, means all the three together started to go to the forest. They have reached the banks of the river Ganga, where they met Guha, the boatman, and have crossed the river to live in the forest next to the river Ganga. This is what we have seen so far in Ayodhya Kanda in part 1. Now we are going to discuss the next part of Ayodhya Kanda, where we'll be discussing how Lord Rama and Sita lived in the forest and what has happened in Ayodhya after the three of them left Ayodhya. Upon reaching the other side of the river, Rama, Sita and Lakshmana walked into the forest. There they met the sage Bharadwaja and got suggested to live in Chitrakuta. It's a small kind of forest. Chitrakuta is a place where Lakshmana built a nice small cottage, kind of a hut, for all three of them to live together. This was the place suggested by the sage Bharadwaja. So finally, Lord Rama, Sita and Lakshmana started their life in the small cottage in Chitrakuta forest. In the meanwhile, after few days traveling back, the chief minister Sumantra, who dropped Lord Rama and Sita at the banks of the river, returned back to Ayodhya. After he returned back, he met King Dasharatha and told how Lord Rama, Sita and Lakshmana took the boat to cross the river and walked into the forest. What has happened after Sumantra left them on the banks, that he explained everything to whom? To the King Dasharatha. Dasharatha was very sad sitting there because his favorite son, the eldest son, left Ayodhya on the request of Queen Kaikeyi. The king was very, very sad. The king felt the next king has left the kingdom. On hearing the news how they walked into the forest, Dashratha could not take it. He felt very sad. With the sorrow, he died. Because he loved Rama so very much, because Rama left him, his father died out of grief and fear. Next, this message that his father has passed away has reached Bharata and Satrughna. The two brothers were living away from Ayodhya since many years at his uncle's place. That means Queen Kaikeyi's kids, Prince Bharata and Satrughna, were living at their uncle's place. They were not in Ayodhya when Lord Rama and Sita went to the forest. They got the news that their father has expired or died. Immediately they came back to Ayodhya and learnt everything. What has happened? How Lord Rama and Sita went to Ayodhya? Why did they go? How Queen Kaikeyi asked the wishes to King Dashratha, and how King Dashratha felt and died. All this they came to know now. After Lord Rama and Sita left the place, Bharata came to know about the situation. He felt very angry and sad. First thing, he first did all the rituals to his father. Because he passed away, there are some things that he needs to do as a son to his father. He did all the rituals and promised himself, vowed that he will bring back Rama to Ayodhya, because he did not like the way Rama and Sita left Ayodhya. They are his own elder brother, right? How can they go away from home? He did not like that situation, so he promised himself that he is going to, in any way, he is going to bring back Rama to Ayodhya. That's what he felt in his mind. Immediately after the ritual and ceremony is done about his father, he took some of the citizens and some of the army along with him and went in search of the couple, the Rama and Sita, along with Lakshmana. He went along to the banks of the river. There he met Guha, the boatman. He asked him what happened, where did they go, and finally he tracked Rama in Chitrakuta, where they built a small cottage and they are living there. Yes or no? They are living there. So Bharata met Rama finally. After all the search, he met Rama and told him about the death of their father. It's a very, very, very bad news, right? That bad news was reached to Rama through Bharata. Rama felt very bad and he did all the performances and the pujas that are needed for his father at the river bank of Mandakini. On his behalf, already Bharata has did it in Ayodhya, but after listening to the news, Lord Rama, being the eldest son, he also did his part for his father. Bharata begged Rama to come back. The youngest brother was requesting Lord Rama again and again to come back home and to take the place of the king, because his father is no more. There's no king for Ayodhya right now. So he requested Rama to be the king instead of he himself, because he did not like to be the king as his elder brother is suffering. Yes or no? Because Lord Rama is in the forest. He did not like that. So he asked the elder brother to come back home and take the place of the king. Did Rama agree? No, because they are the promises of their father, not Rama's promise. It is the promise of his father. So how can Rama break them? Rama cannot break the promises of his father. So he told Bharata to go back to Ayodhya, be the king, and happily rule the kingdom until then. For the 14 years he will stay in the forest away from the kingdom. Bharata was very sad. He waited for Rama to change his mind, but nothing happened. So what did Bharata do? He has to go back and rule the kingdom. Bharata decided to carry the sandals on his head, the sandals of Rama. That means the shoes or the footwear of Rama on his head. You can see him in the picture. That means Prince Bharata loves his elder brother so much. He respects his elder brother so much that he took the footwear and put it on his head, took it all the way, traveled so many days back to Ayodhya and placed the footwear in the king's throne. That means on the seat of where the king actually sits, in the king's place. He put the footwear. That means he is going to feel that Rama is the king and he is just an assistant to Rama. Like that only, all the time he was ruling the kingdom as an assistant to Rama, but not completely as the king himself. That respect he has for his elder brother. See kids, Bharata is the younger one. He loves his brother so very much that even though he is not in the kingdom, he feels his sandals himself is Rama and sitting on the throne. But he was living in a small hut like his brother away from Ayodhya, at the border of the Ayodhya. He is not living a king's life, a luxury life, a happy life. No, he is living in a small hut like his elder brother, who is living in the cottage in the forest far away. Like that only, Prince Bharata was living in a hut and just doing his responsibility to be the assistant to the king, Lord Rama. As Bharata was ruling the kingdom as the assistant to Lord Rama, Rama and Sita in the forest started their life, but they were enjoying living together, their time in the nature with the forest. During that time, one day a crow pecked Sita. Rama saw that and was very angry. Seeing the crow, he understood it was Jayanta, the son of Indra. Who is Indra? Indra is the king of the heavens. Indra's son was Jayanta, who pecked Sita just for fun. Rama got very angry. What is this? He just picked a grass of blade and threw it on Jayanta. Out of pain, Jayanta started crying. Oh, sorry, Lord. Please beg me pardon. I am really sorry. Lord Rama and Sita, I am really sorry. This is how he begged them to leave him alone. But Lord Rama, he is a very nice man. After a while, he just left him. He just hurt him but did not kill him. Okay? And then Few days later, Rama and Sita moved to Atri Muni's hermitage. He went to Atri Muni, sage Atri Muni, so that he can have some suggestions with him how to live in the forest. There, Sita met Anasuya. They were together, very warm, welcoming. Lord Rama and Sita, they spent some time with great affection together. This is how they started their life in the forest. This is going to be the end of Ayodhya Kanda, where Lord Rama and Sita along with Lakshmana left Ayodhya to live in the forest for 14 years, and Bharata started to rule the kingdom after their beloved father's death. Here ends Ayodhya Kanda, and I am going to bring the next Kanda in my next video, which is Aranya Kanda. In the Aranya Kanda, we are going to discuss how Lord Rama killed so many demons, how Sita saw a golden deer in the forest, and how the great demon Ravana took Sita away from Lord Rama. This is going to be the story that has happened in the forest. So the Kanda's name is Aranya Kanda. Okay kids, I'm going to bring the next Kanda in my next video. Until then, be happy, stay safe, and talk soon.